I'm literally doing that. I am doing that right now. You didn't know that at the time, but yeah. Hey there guys, Portalmaster here, and welcome back to another edition of Ask Portalmaster. It's been a while since we've done one of these. It's been 2 months. This was the plan, but it looks like we might want to start making this a monthly affair. I've picked out 20 questions that I'm going to do my best to answer. We had over 100 comments on the last video. Not 100 questions, but 100 comments. So there was quite a few things to go through. I tried to pick a good variety of questions, but I obviously couldn't pick everybody's, or else this video would probably be an hour long, and I don't really want to sit here for an hour and answer questions. So here's what I'm going to do. If we continue to get good engagement on these Ask Portalmaster videos, I'll change it from a every other month affair to a monthly affair, and I'll do my best to answer more of your questions in a more monthly format. And so again, just ask away in the comments, and if we get enough questions, then I'll make another one next month. So I don't really care about views. It really boils down to questions for me. As well, I did also want to take just a brief moment to say that for my most dedicated fans, I really appreciate the support you've been giving me over the past 2 months since the last time I've been able to make one of these videos. We've earned enough money in YouTube ad revenue for me to be able to buy a brand new Elgato, so I will be able to be bringing gameplay to the channel, but it's only thanks to you guys. I expect that my most dedicated supporters are the ones that are watching this video right now, so seriously, I really appreciate you guys' support. My patrons too, you're helping me support the YouTube stuff and the Discord and all the things. It's amazing what you guys are helping me do. So with all the gratitudes out of the way, let's jump into the question and answer section of the video, which is why y'all are here. Before we get to the 20 questions that I'm going to answer in full, I wanted to highlight 4 questions that I'm going to make them their own video. That's how good these questions were. The first question was by Dragon Knight 9000. He said, if Skylanders 7 was made, what would you like to see in the game? Because I would like an open world game for it. So this question is going to get its own full-length video at some point in time. The next one is Amelia. She says, also, if there was a Skylanders 7, what do you think would have to change to make the franchise successful? I think they would have to really nail the gameplay and have a good story for the game in general instead of focusing a ton on toys with a meh game, and also have a reignited Spyro instead of Skylander Spyro since people didn't like it. That will also get a full-length video. Sikala 48 big bit, I think that's it. Do you know how long does a Skylander RFID chip last? Skylanders actually have a limited lifespan. This is a video I'd like to do in the future as well. And finally, Lego AWC Stop Motioner says, how would you rank each game's hub world? I'll add that to the list of Portalmaster ranks videos that are coming in the near future. So thank you for those 4 questions because they're now going to spawn into their own full-length video. Let's get into the questions now. These are in no particular order. So first question is by Ganon's Post. If Skylanders 7 were to release, would Spyro go back to Skylanders and not have separate games anymore? This is an interesting question. I don't think it merits its own full-length video because to me the simple answer is no, it wouldn't. Logically, it does not seem like that's going to be the case. It seems like Spyro is such a very successful franchise on its own, and I see no reason why they can't use the reignited Spyro design and the new Crash Bandicoot design from Crash 4 in a Skylanders game and do it as a crossover franchise, which is what they should have done in the first place. I'm sure there are more franchises as well that they can pull on from third parties that will allow them to use their characters in Skylanders, much like with the Nintendo guest stars. I think there's a lot of potential, and I don't see Spyro going away if Skylanders comes back. Project Jerry says, since there have already been a couple of collaborations with the Skylanders and other games like Mario and Crash, which character from which game do you think has the biggest chance of joining the Skylanders? This is a really tough question, and I think there are a lot of possibilities. The first thing that I jump to is Star Fox, only because he was in another Toys to Life game, and I think he would work spectacularly well for Skylanders. We know that there was an effort to try to get Peach in Skylanders, but I think Nintendo shot that down. I think there is a lot of possibility for Nintendo crossovers at this point, because I think that a future Skylanders game heavily relies on the Switch in order to be successful, and I think that a partnership with Nintendo is very likely to be stricken up. I've covered this in a full-length video before. I think a Skylanders guest star, or rather a Nintendo guest star in Skylanders is very possible, even if it isn't Star Fox, but I think that that is where my mind initially goes. Lord of Lonk says, bit random, but why did you put up Ring Fit on your Skylanders box, and do you enjoy the game? So yes, there is Ring Fit Adventure. It's actually a really great game. I haven't played it as much as I'd like to. I've been really busy with school. Honestly, I need to be playing it more and being more active. Quarantine's got me still kind of semi-cooped up in here, so not really being super duper active, but it's a great game. I honestly really recommend it to anybody who ever enjoyed Wii Fit. It's not the same thing as Wii Fit, but definitely if you like RPGs and if you like fitness games, you're gonna enjoy Ring Fit. I got my girlfriend to get Ring Fit. She really likes it too, and I think that all of you guys will as well. It's a great game. I highly recommend it. Oh, but the main question was, why did I put it up there? And basically because where else am I going to put it in my room? This is a stack of boxes. I have room for it, and there's no other open shelf in my room. So thus on the Skylander pile it went. Expert Sketch Tech says, can you react to your old videos? If so, I would love it if you reacted to the birthday haul video. I think that was quite funny. So this one actually did kind of also spawn its own video, because the answer to this is yes, I would like to do a video reacting to my old videos. I think that'd be really cool. I have so many years worth of content on here. I have 7 years worth. You can basically watch me grow up from age 13 to age 20. It's actually really kind of funny, and I would love to do a video like that. So expect something like that at some point. D's Nuts says, what is your least favorite game of all time? I'm not talking a meh bad game. I'm talking like so awful and unplayable that you couldn't play a second more than you already did. It's this game. This is the worst game I've ever played. I have, like, literally, this is an awful game. I cannot believe I spent money on a physical version of this. I bought it for like 20 bucks or something like that at GameStop when they were having a sale. But seriously, this is a garbage game. I played it for less than 15 minutes and just gave up on it. It is so unintuitive with the controls. I hate this game with a burning passion, and I do not recommend it to anyone. I checked it out because I saw a review by Malistal for this game had made it into GameStop's official store, and then I was like, oh, well, it's a cheap game, let me buy it. No, it was awful. I hate it. Don't buy this game. Skyline says, do you have any tips for YouTube? And then he also says some other stuff on here. So this is actually another question that somehow made it into this section. I forgot to put it in the section of spawns the own videos, because this is a video I want to do at some point, is talking about YouTube stuff and how to especially do content for an inactive game, because there's nothing going on for Skylanders right now. You have to be really creative with the content you're making. So I'd love to expand this into a full video. What I think the rest of the question was asking, it was not exactly grammatically correct, but what I think it was saying is, are these your childhood Skylanders? To which the answer is yes. These Skylanders right here and the Skylander starter pack, this is the first thing I ever got. The Eruptor and the Ignitor and the Stealth Elf are still on the shelves back there. Those are the original ones. I got them Christmas of 2011. I have had them for the entire time they've been around. I about said my entire life, but basically, yes, these are the Skylanders I've had ever since I was a kid and was buying Skylanders. The Armageddon says, have you considered making a series of playing through all the Skylanders games? This is kind of a thing that's going to spin off into its own video, but not because, you know, he inspired me to do it. This is something I'm totally planning to do. I've been waiting to get my Elgato because I don't have a way to play the old Skylanders games right now and actually record them. I used to have an Elgato and I legitimately have no idea where it is, and I'm sure that as soon as I buy a new one it'll show up. But nevertheless, yes, I do want to do a playthrough of all the Skylanders games, but I haven't been able to do it yet because I haven't had a way to record off of my Wii. So I've been waiting for that YouTube money to roll in, and that is going to be what lets me do this. So yes, expect me to eventually play through all the Skylanders games. It is definitely on the agenda. DJ Kechny, or however you say this, says, another question. What did you think of Battlecast, and do you think they will do something like it again? Battlecast was, at the very least, an attempt, but ultimately I have so many problems with this game. I've already done a full video years ago, back when Battlecast first went downhill. I think it was 2017 when they announced it was canceled. I did a full-length video on what was wrong with it. It was overpriced, it was too complicated, and ultimately it tried to balance a physical and digital card game, and you couldn't play it physically. It was a bad idea to sell physical cards for a game that can only be played digitally. At least Light Seekers that tried something similar could be played both physically and digitally. It was an awful idea, and I don't ever think they'll do anything like it again because of how colossal of a failure it was. If Skylanders ever tries to do another thing like that, it should do Skystones. Skystones was actually a fun game, especially Skystones Overdrive from Superchargers. That is the best version of Skystones that existed, and I really wish they'd expanded it into a full game rather than trying just to do Battlecast. Felix Cholopin says, if Ubisoft makes Skylanders 7, would you like to see any Starlink character, and if so, who? I really like this question. It's really fun to answer. So there's a couple of options. Of course you have Star Fox, but that doesn't really count because that's not a, we won't count that. The other one would be Mason Rana, which is the main character that was included in the starter pack. He seems like the obvious choice. Levi would be a great addition just because he was such a kid's character. I know a lot of people that played Starlink hated Levi, but also he was the most powerful character of all. So, yeah, I don't know. I could see it there. But really, I think the ultimate answer is Eli Arborwood, who most of all looked like a Skylander. It could have also been the little one that I can't think of right off the top of my head that was only released in Europe. For some reason that's escaping my head right now. It just popped in. So that one would be good, but especially I think Eli Arborwood is the best option for adding in to a Skylanders game, just since he looks the most like a Skylander probably, in my opinion. Jay Matthews says, have you thought about making a separate channel for gaming content in general? In the past, I thought about doing something like Portalmaster Plays or Portalmaster Gaming, but ultimately I don't think that's the way I want to take this channel. I think eventually the way I see this channel going, especially if Skylanders comes back, is getting more into the gameplay side of things and a little bit less with the discussion. Discussion won't go anywhere, but I'd like to move a little bit more in the direction of gameplay. And if that is what happens, then I think that ultimately we will just see a fusion of Skylanders and other content over on this channel. I don't see the point in making a separate gaming channel. At that point, it just becomes too hard to juggle the algorithm. The algorithm favors you if you're able to produce content every 7 days, and ultimately I'm not confident that I'd always be able to do that on both channels, and I think that keeping yourself relevant in the algorithms is such a key component in actually moving up in the YouTube world and getting any new traffic. I'm not saying it's all about views, but I am just saying that doing a ton of work doesn't feel rewarding if you're not really getting any results, and ultimately I think that keeping everything unified in one channel is the best way to go forward. Even if I am streaming on multiple platforms, I think I want to keep it all on the original Portalmaster brand, and that's why I dropped the numbers, and I really like the Portalmaster name because non-Skylanders fans don't know it's from Skylanders. That's what's so great about it. It's just a generic name to anyone that's not a Skylanders fan, but anyone that is a Skylanders fan knows it. So ultimately, the Portalmaster brand is what I like and where I'd like to keep this channel. Apollo IRL says, when the leakers said that the new Skylanders game would be a profitable and new take on the series, I thought immediately of a battle royale. So what would you think of a Skylanders battle royale? Bear in mind that this video that the question is from 2 months ago, so now we basically know it's probably not anything like that, but at the time, it's a very fair question. I think a Skylanders Battle Royale would actually be kind of cool if done correctly. I don't think everything needs to be a Battle Royale, but I definitely like cool and unique takes on the genre. I think that Tetris 99 and Mario 35 by Nintendo are some of the most unique takes on the Battle Royale format that we have seen, and I think that Skylanders could fit really in a niche spot within that. We haven't really seen battle royales in non-shooter forms with the exception of the 2 that I just mentioned, and I really think that a Skylanders survival ring out would actually be a really cool way to bring back battle mode. Any future Skylanders game needs to have some type of competitive and social aspect. If you look at any successful game these days, it has that. It was a foolish decision to not incorporate that into Skylanders originally, and I believe that any future Skylanders game will include that. I would actually love some type of almost Hunger Games style, Battle Royale style game mode in Skylanders. I think it would be really cool, and I would actually totally support it. Only as a side mode though. We still need the classic gameplay, but as a side mode, it'd be amazing. London Omega says, how much do you think you've spent on Skylanders? Short answer, too much. Long answer, I've estimated before, it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000, but I don't know that for certain. Jake McCourt says, in the near future, do you ever plan to sadly pack up all your Skylanders and bring your loving Skylanders adventure to an end? Growing up isn't fun. The answer is no. I'm gonna literally be a kid forever. No, that's not exactly the truth, but basically I am a college student right now, and I am still kind of living at home and kind of living on campus. I go to school less than an hour away from here, so I'm home quite frequently, and honestly, I don't think I'll ever fully move out for quite some time. It's definitely not going to be until the end of college at the very least, and I do plan to do more than just a 4-year degree. I'm in chemistry right now, so basically, I think that I'll be living somewhat in and out of this house for quite some time, and I think that these guys are going to be here for as long as I at least live here part-time, basically. So I don't think I'll pack these guys up anytime soon, and honestly, I really probably will still display them to some capacity wherever I end up in after I'm here. Judas ANSNRW, quite a lot of letters there, says, what is your favorite Skylanders music piece, and of course, why? I have a ranking video on the Skylanders music, but I'll just go ahead and throw this one out there. It's the Skylanders main theme, the original one from Spyro's Adventure. It is the best piece of music that is ever in Skylanders, even outside of just the main themes. If I had to go past there, I would say some of the pirate music themes. I don't specifically know the levels, but from the original game. The original game, in my opinion, has the best soundtrack, and I think that the pirate levels are some of the coolest ones. Nolan the Epic Portalmaster says, if you could pick anyone to be a guest star in Skylanders 7, who would it be and why? And this doesn't just have to be from a video game. It can be a TV character, a movie character, etc. It will never happen. But listen to me. How awesome would it be if Disney Infinity and Skylanders had a crossover and we'd gotten Marvel characters in Skylanders? Would that not have been so cool? Can you not imagine a Skylanderified Iron Man, for instance? That'd been so cool. Or Skylanders-ified Thor? Literally any character from Marvel that's actually a cool superhero. Some of them would be kind of meh. Like Quicksilver in Skylanders would be meh. But seriously, like some of the Marvel characters in Skylanders would be honestly amazing. I'm not saying that, I'm not committing to that as my one choice, but I am saying that that is in general the direction I'd definitely like to see if this was a thing. Doom Hakai says, do you think you can make videos ranking each Skylander based on their strength and or design, separating them by game? I'm literally doing that. I am doing that right now. You didn't know that at the time, but yeah. Ken Savage says, will you get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X? At the start, I'm getting a PS5. Like, there's no denying it. I was always going to get a PS5 just because of the sheer number of exclusives. I mean, seriously, the fact that it can play the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn is enough to make me get the game. I know it's not exclusive to PS5. It's PS5 and 4, but seriously, the number of exclusives on the PlayStation is just the reason why I have to go for that. But see, Xbox will be getting exclusives later on in the life cycle. A lot of the big open world RPGs, especially now that Microsoft has bought Bethesda, I definitely see a lot of exclusives on the Sony or on the Microsoft platform going forward, and so eventually I will most likely purchase a Series X at some point, but that's definitely not something I need at launch, and I'll probably wait until at the earliest possible date, Black Friday of the next year, but it might not even be for another couple years at this point, honestly. Senate says, hey, do you know what whales is? Well, yeah, they're this aquatic mammal. No, seriously, I actually do know exactly where Wales is, or more or less exactly where Wales is in the United Kingdom. It's, I actually took a international government course in high school, so we talked about the British government system. So I know actually probably a lot more about Britain than the average American that's never stepped foot out of the country does. So, you know, little pat on the back for knowing that, but yes, I know what Wales is. UPop45 says, has your wall of boxes ever fallen over? You know, it's kind of funny because when my girlfriend first came over and saw all the Skylanders, she knew I was a Skylanders fan, but I don't think she quite knew that this is how I had my room set up. One of the first things she commented on was the wall of boxes and how she was scared about it falling over. The answer is yes, I've had it fall over, but typically it's only when I'm messing with it. I actually have it set up more or less where the heavy stuff is on the bottom and the light stuff is on the middle, and then the medium heavy stuff is on the top. And what it does is it sandwiches the light stuff in the middle and makes it where they'll never fall over. These, especially like the Spyro's Adventure Starter Pack and these are the lighter ones, and they're so well wedged in there, they'll never fall over. The only time, like I said, have them fall over is when I'm trying to get boxes off the top. These guys, on the other hand, before I repackaged all of my Senseis, I actually had them on the ground right here. My room was set up very differently, and occasionally I had knocked those over, but beyond that, I've never really had problems. Next question comes from DarkWatchXY. Did you originally like the Skylanders Boy and Girl channel, but now dislike them? Had a lot of people ask me what I thought about the Skylanders Boy and Girl in the past, and I just want to get this out here once and for all. The Skylanders Boy and Girl were never for me. I never really enjoyed their content, but that's okay. Their content was never aimed at me. Even when Skylanders was still around and when Skylanders Boy and Girl were in their prime, I was already 13, 14, 15 years old. I was way older than their target audience. audience. A lot of the people who watch me now were like 8 or 7, you know, during Skylander's peak. So that was who Skylander Boy and Girl really appealed to. I was always on the older end of the spectrum, so there was really no reason for me to like them. I appreciate them for what they did. I know there's a lot of discussion about the character of, you know, Skylander Dad. Some people have, you know, tried to say he's a bad person. I'm not going to get into that. I don't know the guy personally. I see the persona he represents on YouTube, and I don't know, you know, is that him? You know, it doesn't, I can't accurately judge him based off of that. But more or less, my main issue with Skylander Boy and Girl is that they just weren't aimed at me. And I ultimately kind of judge them more so for just dropping off the face of the earth with Skylanders content than really anything else. They left when the money dried up, and that's the ultimate reason I don't think I'll ever respect them as a YouTuber, just because the only reason they were playing Skylanders towards the end was for the money from Activision. And I think that ultimately that's sort of why I don't really like them as much, but they were okay in their prime. My next question comes from Haley, my girlfriend. She asks, what is your favorite pickup line? There are 2 that I particularly like. The first one is this one, the one about the appendix, mainly because it makes me laugh so hard when I read this. This is a really dumb pickup line, and I don't know why, but it makes me laugh every single time. The other one is this joke because I'm a chemistry major, and I know all about ions, and for some reason that just makes me like this corny little pickup line even more. I really enjoy seeing her little pickup lines on all my videos. It makes me laugh every time. I generally have her not tell me what they're going to be, and then they're just a little surprised when she posts them. So I really appreciate them, and I really do like them. So there's the answer to that question. There you have it. That is the end of Ask Portalmaster. Looking at the final time, it's 27 minutes of raw footage. That's a lot of raw footage. I think I'm going to end up getting this down below 20 minutes. That's the hope anyway. I really don't want it to go on that long. Tell me what you guys think about the episode length. I had some people say they like the longer episodes. I know some people are probably going to prefer the shorter ones. I don't really know what you guys want. Maybe I can start time-stamping people's questions down in the comment or down in the description. I don't know if that's something I'll do. We'll see if there's enough interest in that. There's definitely a lot of things I'm still open to with this, and definitely remember that the number of questions that I get on this video is going to dictate whether or not I make this a monthly thing or continue to do it every other month, because I want to do what makes you guys happy. And so just let me know if I should do another one of these in November or if I should wait until December. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all of your questions. I really appreciate them. Sorry if I didn't get to your question in this video, but maybe I'll get to it next time. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out all my social medias linked down in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching. I just wanted to take some time to thank my generous patrons on Patreon, including APYT Skylanders, OctoBoom, Haley, True Blue Dogemon, Cinderclash, Hypnotic Ocelot, Adrian, and AngryTedC.